Joel Piroe is on the verge of becoming a West Ham player, but the most interesting part of this deal is not simply that he is arriving from Leeds United. It is the clause that could turn a temporary move into something much more significant, and that clause is directly tied to what West Ham achieved this season. Edson Alvarez, meanwhile, is moving in the opposite direction. The Mexican midfielder is understood to want permission to leave London, with Real Sociedad pushing into a strong position, but West Ham still hold the key to whether that departure actually happens. So, West Ham are trying to add proven championship goals, while also deciding what to do with one of their most experienced midfielders, and if you enjoy clear West Ham discussion without the noise, make sure you stay with the channel. Joel Piroe is set to join West Ham from Leeds United, with Nuno Espirito Santo looking to strengthen his attacking options for the championship campaign. Piroe arrives with a record that immediately stands out, having finished the 2024-25 season as the championship Golden Boot winner with 19 goals. That is exactly the type of production West Ham need from an incoming forward. The structure of the move makes the deal even more interesting. Piroe has agreed personal terms with West Ham and completed his medical, with the transfer set up as a loan for the rest of the season carrying an option to buy. Football International also detailed a further condition that could take the decision out of West Ham's hands later on. If West Ham win promotion during the 2026-27 campaign, Piroe's loan is set to become a permanent transfer automatically. His contract would then run until the middle of 2029. That means his longer-term future at the club could be determined directly by whether West Ham achieve the biggest objective in front of them. That gives this deal a very clear purpose. West Ham are not simply bringing in another body for the squad. They are adding a forward who has already shown he can score heavily in the championship, while building a permanent commitment around success rather than making that commitment immediately. For Nuno Espirito Santo, the next question is how to use him. Piroe is not entering an empty forward line. Tati Castellanos is already part of the attacking picture, while Jeroboam gives West Ham another major threat. If Castellanos remains beyond the transfer deadline, Nuno will have to find the right balance rather than treating Piroe only as a direct replacement. Piroe has already shown that he can offer more than one role. During his time at Leeds United, he played behind the striker, and in the 2022-23 championship season with Swansea, he scored 19 goals in 43 league matches. He also operated from attacking midfield and wider positions. That flexibility gives West Ham more options than simply placing him at center forward. That becomes important when you look at how Nuno has already set up his side. Pablo has been used as an attacking midfielder behind Castellanos, while against Burnley the pair operated together in a 4-4-2. Piroe therefore arrives in a system where there are several realistic ways for him to contribute once he is fully integrated. The key point is that Piroe brings proven championship output. West Ham are trying to build a side capable of earning an immediate return to the Premier League, and a player who has already won the division's Golden Boot gives them evidence rather than hope. 19 goals at this level carries weight, especially in a squad that needs reliable attacking production. There is also a financial logic behind the structure. The initial loan means West Ham do not have to commit immediately to a full permanent transfer, while promotion would activate the longer agreement. That gives the club a way of linking the financial commitment to the sporting success they are trying to achieve. Piroe's positional versatility may become just as valuable as his scoring record. If Nuno wants to play with Castellanos, there is room to explore that possibility. If he wants Piroe behind another striker, he has experience there. If West Ham need him wider or in a different attacking role, he has done that before as well. Jeroboam remains central to the attacking picture, so this is not simply a case of West Ham signing one striker and building everything around him. Nuno now has the possibility of combining different profiles across the front line, and that is especially important across the demands of a championship season. West Ham are therefore bringing in Piroe for something very specific. They need goals, they need depth, and they need players who already understand the level. His record with Leeds United and Swansea give him that background, while the contract structure means his permanent future could be earned through the club's success. Before we move into the Alvarez situation, tell me how you would use Piroe as the main striker alongside Castellanos or in a deeper attacking role, and make sure you subscribe if you want more focused West Ham coverage. Edson Alvarez now represents a completely different type of decision for West Ham. The Mexican midfielder arrived from Ajax in 2023 for around €38 million, carrying major expectations after his success in Dutch football and his Champions League experience. He was signed to bring aggression, defensive strength, and ball-winning ability to the midfield, while also offering the versatility to operate in defense. There were periods when Alvarez played an important role, but his situation changed as West Ham moved through different managers, different tactical ideas, and wider changes to the squad. By 2025, the club had decided to send him to Fenerbahce on loan for a season. That was already a major indication that his long-term position at West Ham had become uncertain. He has now returned to England, but the club he has come back to is in a very different position. West Ham have been relegated to the Championship and are going through a major rebuild. Players with significant wages, international reputations, and strong resale potential naturally become part of that conversation, and Alvarez clearly fits that category. West Ham have not pushed him away from the squad, however. Alvarez has returned to action and remains integrated while his future is considered. That gives the club negotiating strength because there is no need to accept a weak offer simply to remove him from the group. Real Sociedad may want the player and Alvarez may want the move, but West Ham still control the conditions under which he leaves. That is the central issue. The Spanish club can push, the player can express his preference, but neither side can complete the transfer without meeting West Ham's demands. Mateo Moreto has been linked with the information that Alvarez has asked for permission to leave. That is important because it changes the pressure around the situation. Interest from another club is one thing. A player actively wanting the move gives West Ham another factor to consider when deciding whether keeping him is still the best option. The financial side is difficult. West Ham paid around €38 million to Ajax, and recovering the full investment now appears unlikely. Alvarez spent last season away on loan. West Ham are now in the Championship, and interested clubs know that the Hammers are open to discussing his future. That naturally strengthens Real Sociedad's position when negotiating the price. West Ham still have every reason to protect their investment. Selling below a sensible valuation would weaken the benefit of moving him on, especially when Alvarez could still offer something substantial to the squad. The club therefore has to balance the desire to generate funds against the value of keeping an experienced international player. From the player's point of view, Real Sociedad has obvious appeal. It would give Alvarez the chance to return to a strong first division, continue playing at a high European level, and join a side looking for reinforcements in both midfield and defense. Those are the two positions where his versatility give him the most value. Ajax also remains relevant as another potential destination. Alvarez enjoyed successful years in Amsterdam, won trophies, and built a strong connection there before joining West Ham. A return would have clear personal significance, but Real Sociedad currently appears to be further ahead in the pursuit. There is also a strong argument for West Ham simply keeping him. The Championship is physically demanding, the schedule is heavy, and squad depth is crucial. Alvarez brings experience, defensive aggression, and familiarity with high-pressure matches. Those qualities could be extremely useful in a team trying to win promotion at the first opportunity. That is where the tension comes from. Alvarez is 28 years old, remains an important name for the Mexican national side, and still has market value. Selling him could free significant space on the wage bill and generate money for new signings. Keeping him could strengthen the team immediately. Both options have clear value for West Ham. Put the Piroe and Alvarez situations together and you can see two different sides of the same rebuild. Piroe is arriving with championship goals and a deal linked directly to promotion. Alvarez could leave if West Ham receive enough money to make his departure useful to the wider squad-building process. The contrast is sharp. One player is being brought in because his recent record fits exactly what West Ham need at this level. The other already possesses qualities that could help in the championship, but his preference to leave forces the club to consider whether the sporting benefit of keeping him is greater than the financial benefit of selling. There is also a similarity in the way West Ham are trying to protect themselves. With Piroe, the initial loan reduces the immediate permanent commitment and promotion would activate the longer deal. With Alvarez, the club has no reason to accept a poor price simply because Real Sociedad are interested. In both cases, West Ham are trying to keep control of the terms. For Nuno Espirito Santo, Piroe potentially gives the attack more flexibility. He can compete with Castellanos, work alongside him, or operate in another attacking position. For the wider squad, the Alvarez decision could determine whether West Ham retain an experienced defensive midfielder or gain funds to strengthen other areas. Jeroboam, Tati Castellanos, and Piroe give West Ham several attacking options if all remain available, while Alvarez could still provide strength behind them if no suitable sale is agreed. That is why these deals should not be viewed in isolation. Each decision changes the balance of the squad Nuno has to work with. The Alvarez situation still comes back to one thing: valuation. Real Sociedad have an incentive to reduce the price. Alvarez has an incentive to see the move happen. West Ham have an incentive to make sure any departure genuinely improves their ability to rebuild. That is the negotiation that now matters. Piroe's deal has much more clarity. Personal terms have been agreed, his medical has been completed, and the proposed loan gives him a direct route towards a permanent West Ham future. If promotion is achieved, that contract could run until the middle of 2029. West Ham therefore have to be disciplined. Piroe should not be viewed simply as another forward because his championship record and versatility give Nuno several options. Alvarez should not be treated as someone who has to leave at any price because he remains capable of helping West Ham in a demanding division. For supporters, the bigger picture is straightforward. West Ham are rebuilding after relegation, and every major squad decision has to improve the chances of getting back to the Premier League. Piroe brings goals that have already been proven at championship level. Alvarez brings experience that could either remain in the squad or be converted into funds for further recruitment. The best outcome is whichever combination leaves West Ham stronger. If Piroe reproduces the form that made him a championship Golden Boot winner, he could become a major part of the promotion push. If Real Sociedad meet a valuation that properly serves the rebuild, Alvarez could leave without West Ham weakening their position unnecessarily. This is not simply about one player arriving and another possibly leaving. It is about West Ham constructing a squad around promotion, goals, depth, finances, and commitment. Piroe's future could become permanent if West Ham succeed, while Alvarez's future depends on whether another club is willing to meet the price required to take him away. Let me know what you make of both decisions, and if you want more direct West Ham analysis, like the video and stay with the channel.